Good evening. I'm Karen Cox, and on behalf of the American Heart Association and co-chair of this year's event, I welcome you to the 2012 Wichita Heart Ball. We have rolled out the red carpet for you tonight because you are all stars. You are stars because by coming tonight, you are showing your support for the fight against the #1 killer of men and women in this country.
There are people and families behind these statistics. That's why the American Heart Association will never give up hope, and it is why continued Heart Association-funded research is so important. That research, made possible by donors like you, has led to dozens of life-saving advances. Those include pacemakers, bypass surgery, the heart-lung machine, complicated surgical techniques that enable the repair of heart defects, even life-extending drugs and CPR, all made possible because of research funded by the American Heart Association.
All this research has changed dramatically how we care for patients, and all that research has been funded and supported by the American Heart Association.
Cardiologist and CEO of the Kansas Heart Hospital, Dr. Thomas Ashcombe, supports the AHA for two big reasons.
So the American Heart's commitment to cardiovascular research, they're also involved in the education of the general public, and that makes our job significantly easier.
The Kansas Heart Hospital and its doctors are not alone in their support of the Heart Association.
I think the support is critical because with that money and research, we can get more and more tools to actually cure people and save lives.
In fact, since 1949, the American Heart Association has funded more than $3.3 billion in research nationwide. 8 researchers have won Nobel Prizes for research funded by the AHA. And in the last 5 years in Kansas alone, the AHA has funded 35 cardiovascular studies at an investment of almost $4.5 million.
In 1999, the American Heart Association set a 10-year goal to significantly decrease the death rate from heart disease and stroke, a goal that was achieved nearly 2 years early. In 2010, another aggressive goal was set: to reduce death and disability from cardiovascular disease and stroke by 20%, while improving the cardiovascular health of all Americans by 20%, all by the year 2020.
As amazing as the developments have been, they fail in comparison to the best of all treatments, and that is prevention. At each of your seats, I've asked the American Heart Association to provide a Life Simple 7 card. This card, with the data that it provides and the web link on the reverse side, contain important information that can save your life, the life of your spouse, or the life of your child. On the reverse side of the card, you'll find the website, heart.org/mylifecheck, and you can enter your data and get a personal health score risk. You'll also be provided with an action plan that includes steps to help you improve your health and reduce your chances of succumbing to the #1 killer of both men and women in the United States, which is coronary artery disease.
For medical professionals who combat heart disease every day, the life and death consequences of the disease often hit close to home.
My mother passed away from a large stroke within the last 3 years, and my father died of complications following bypass surgery.
Cardiac electrophysiologist David Margolis is also on the board of directors of the American Heart Association.
We at the American Heart Association recognize that, especially in this day and age, there are a lot of avenues to focus donated dollars. There are a lot of people in need in a lot of different venues. Heart disease treatment is so important to all of us. Your presence tonight can help so many people by the research dollars and the educated efforts that we can all provide.
In 2011, the AHA allocated over $12.5 million for 187 new studies in the Midwest alone. Unfortunately, however, it lacked the necessary additional $14 million to fund another 153 very important studies. This is a critical gap that means potentially life-saving projects were shelved. That's why tonight we desperately need your help.
Encouraging the patrons of the American Heart Association, Paul, to support the American Heart, because the research as well as the education that is supported by the American Heart Association will not only affect and directly benefit the patrons, but also their loved ones.
With your donations, we can all envision a happier and healthier Wichita, free of cardiovascular disease and stroke.
To you, the stars of the evening, we thank you for your support of the American Heart Association and invite you to enjoy the evening.